So if you're dealing with calculating or understanding truss load bearing, stay tuned for this lecture. So here we have a set of objects, a bell hanging from a rod, a swing bell hanging from a rod, and then we have a ballast and retainer system. So this could be perhaps the roof area of a church. And so during the construction, we want to distribute the total weight of all these objects across these two 45-degree angle truss members. So the first question or statement is to just simply add up all the values and quickly calculate 5,400 pounds. But when we want to find out how much of the 5,400 pounds is going to distribute across each truss, you can just pick one right triangle side of the two truss member. And again, this could be multiple depth projections for a roof. And so since we're dealing with the opposite angle, adjacent and hypotenuse angles with irrelevancy across the vertical load downward, the adjacent and the unknown truss force hypotenuse, we can just solve for cosine or adjacent over hypotenuse. And so when we solve for the hypotenuse algebraically, we calculate a total load bearing of 7637.75 pounds, but we can divide that value into two truss members. So we actually distribute the total vertical load bearing force over the function of the cosine of 45 degrees. So we've alleviated the direct vertical load by about 29%. So if we look at the ratio for the truss to load bearing ratio, set up as the load to truss ratio, we would have a 1 to 0.7071, so that's just the cosine of 45 degrees. So before implementing the design, you can just multiply total vertical load bearing times whatever cosine angle you're working with. So if it's a 30-degree angle, then of course the value will alter itself to closer to the vertical load bearing value, or 0.8660 of 5,400 if it was 30 degrees, and again 60 would then come to exactly 0.5 equal to the sine of 30 degrees. But so it may also be ideal to use the angle of 60 degrees to distribute the best arrangement, but then it's going to take more material. So usually 45 degrees is the optimal truss angle for functionality and cost. Thank you for watching this lecture and have a great day.